politely and with
Hashtag FBS.
satire. We use satire to express our opinions instead
We're
of...
fucking Bill Schuette right now.
Fuck Bill Schuette.
Fuck Bill
And
Schuette.
as we do this, and some of the people who will add to this comedy, let me introduce the community entertainment of satire, especially tonight.
This is entertainment, yeah.
Start with our board runner over there, and the champion of the hashtag FBS. Please welcome Jim Powers.
Fuck Bill Schuette.
Way to go, Jim.
Jim Powers. Unless I could do a 90-minute introduction for everyone and their credentials in terms of like what the fucking road they've traveled that contributed to this overall cause. I'm going to hold off on that.
Just be getting warmed up for someone else.
And, right.
I mean,
that'd be
Jamie's pretty old, so that explains that.
Yes, he is.
In moving around the room, and what I'm going to do is after we introduce everyone, we're going to come back and let everybody brag about themselves and their contributions. But for right now, we're going to got Deborah Young. Please welcome.
Fuck Bill Schuette.
Yeah. Fuck Bill Schuette.
We have the Christine here from Botanic, and of course our favorite guest here at Planet Green Trees. Please welcome Christine. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm going to participate in Fuck Bill Schuette.
There you go.
Yeah. Fuck Bill Schuette.
Fuck Bill.
That's an exciting story, though. Your employee, and we love Q, and we're so happy that.
Can you pronounce the name right? Michael, you're the only one who got the name right.
What?
I got to say that Rick and Jamie mispronounced it over and over and over again.
Rick was practicing on the way
Rick
down.
practiced.
Rhymes with Titanic.
So we ended up calling it
Titanic.
Q's Place. You got it right.
Q's place.
Q's Place.
Q's place.
Q's joint.
Okay.
Q's joint.
That's fair.
Seems better. Yeah.
Good job.
But we love her, and I'm so glad that, and that it looked like a great place, didn't it? It's like the photo shoot, and the interior,
Awesome.
and it's just
Yeah.
all, yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so now we've got the big shot here. Well, let me do it. We got the super big shot. He's wearing his lucky hat. I thought he wore that hat when he was not in a good mood, but it seems to have changed. But he is arguably solely responsible for all the good things about marijuana that ever happens to Michigan.
That's true.
Without debate.
100%.
The women
it's
are
not quite
lining
that
up.
extreme. It's just that you can extrapolate my part in anything that's
I go as
positive
far
that's
as to
ever
say.
taken place with cannabis.
No introduction.
So
could be-
humble. So humble.
Could be less
What a guy.
than to say Jamie Lowe's here.
Yeah, Jay.
Hello. And of course, fuck Bill Schuette.
Yeah.
Fuck Bill Schuette. Yeah.
As we move around the room, we have my dear friend and champion of the battle here that we've all been involved in. Please welcome my good friend and scratch golfer and soon-to-be Champions Tour champion, Jay Van Dyke.
Hey, Michael. Thank you.
He says
Fuck
hi.
Schuette is Bill Schuette.
And he essentially said fuck Bill Schuette.
He said it before we went on air. So.
And my compadre in crime over there, the internationally renowned lawyer and guitar aficionado and iguana lover. Please welcome Jeff Frazier.
Hello. Way to go, Michigan. The women stepped up.
Hell yeah.
Yes, we did.
Say fuck Bill Schuette in Spanish.
He
Thank
was.
you, Jeanette, for bringing me to Michigan in case Bill Schuette me mama la verga.
See.
That was sexy.
Yeah, it was.
Wait, can you say that in slow motion?
Yeah. Do that again. Do it again in slower.
Slower.
He's still in the house, so we got to be careful. You know, camera.
No, he slunk out.
And then, of course, the also like the other debate. Like, there's two like championship belts of who was solely responsible for championing the legalization. I know that in the story goes that my encounters with a certain sheriff in a certain county, after him just torturing people, sometime in a hallway told me that Rick Thompson guy is behind this whole thing. He's the gang leader in all of this. So I want to introduce it. And that picture of him, like on one of the in the news.
If the tights fit.
The tights fit.
Big Daddy.
The picture as he stood there
So tight.
with the announcements giving the play-by-play at Cannabis Council, the aura. It may be true.
Had Ben's cartoon picture of him on file.
The man that brought. There's no other. They cannot be introduced. Big Daddy, Rick Thompson.
Thank you very much.
I know that's it.
Let us say this. Stroke Bill Schuette softly while fucking Bill Schuette.
Oh.
And the man himself, the host with the most, MK, came in. Hero of the people, Michael Kimura.
Thanks. Okay, good
I
stuff.
mean,
Good
you're
stuff.
supposed to kiss when I do that, Rick. You're
Oh.
supposed to kiss Michael when I do that.
No, I don't think so.
Sorry.
He's only
Velcro
softly,
mustaches together.
gently Bill Shooty. That's what he's only limited.
You can't put two beards of our magnitude together. It would just cause friction. So,
So what are we doing tonight? So
Isn't that the whole
so
idea?
a couple quick shout outs. We got Josh Colton's in the area somewhere, and I want to give a shout out to my Dewey, as Pam, of course.
Earl Carruthers is back.
Earl Carruthers is here.
Earl.
He is.
You ever heard of this brownie case? Yes, it's still going on.
And we saw Bob Redden the other night, which was awesome.
Yeah,
Bob
Bob.
Redden
Yeah.
looked phenomenal. He's like an athlete now. He's like a world class athlete, like training for the veterans sports team or something.
Oh,
like
good
that.
for him, man.
He could beat up Mike Bouchard now. What?
Oh, yeah.
Oakland County
That'd
Sheriff.
Karate
be, that'd
chop.
be a match.
Goes
Only-
down
only
to a
if you allow-
72-year-old.
Only if they allowed tap outs, probably, but otherwise. It'd be. So
That's awesome. That's so fun.
calling this 403 Bill Shooty is off duty. I mean, there's so much to talk about. We should probably try to keep it to some kind of I don't know. We'd have to organize it, but like, all right. So it passed. The Prop
It-
1 passed. Is that right? Did I
It-
understand that what happened the other night?
It
Was that true?
passed.
Okay.
56%? Is that the official
Now,
total?
Almost 56.
Let's talk about
Almost
some of the
57.
interesting facts, like on the voting scale, because like last time, I just always love saying every fucking county, voted in favor of
I
it. There
know,
was the one that was,
It's a good tool.
there was every single county, 82
Yeah.
counties, they all
Not-
voted in favor.
not
of
the
it. Right.
case.
Now
this
just
time.
the
Not the
asshole
case.
counties.
Right.
the-
So
yeah.
we know that now. What is important though is that despite what there's some counties that did not vote in favor. Right, we know that.
A bunch of them.
A bunch of them.
Let's-
Up
let's-
north, little shit counties we don't care about.
Wow.
That's correct.
Hey, come
I'm
on.
kidding.
Well, you make a good point because as you go through and scroll through those same, and I'll
My
call them
family
what they
members
call
from
these
some of those
little
counties.
shit counties, whatever they're, that all voted for Tom Leonard.
They
Right.
did.
It was
They
like
did.
it was
Except for
six-
Benzie County. Reverend Steve rocked them out up
Did
north
they?
in Reverend
I
Steve.
just-
They
okay.
voted for Dana.
Macomb
and they
County
voted
voted
yes.
for Tom
Yeah.
Leonard, which was
No, they voted for Dana, but that
unfortunate.
was strictly our people pumping the.
Yes,
the,
unequivocally. My point was that as you went through and saw,
Yeah, the rest of them.
it was the counties. It's like 82 counties, and each one of them like 800 votes for Leonard, 500 for Nessel. 55% to whatever. And it was like that A through until you got down to like.
To the,
was the
re-
first
to the
one.
real. The
Well,
real
he was
counties.
beating her
Ingham-
until they
Ingham-
got to the Democratic.
Right.
Family
No, I'm
highly
saying
popular-
the
going
larger
through the
counties,
A's
right.
and the B's,
Yeah.
they were but so it was.
But they
Yeah,
was
Washtenaw
reversed.
and Wayne are in the W,
Yes,
so it took
I
a
know,
while
that's
to
what
get
I'm
there.
saying.
And Oakland, too.
And the point is,
Right.
those
It's down.
counties had so many more votes that they
Right.
chewed up,
Right.
swallowed,
Of course, and it took them longer to
spit out
report.
those other votes. Right, but like you read through, like this county is like 2,000 voters. This one's got
Exactly.
4,000, and they're losing it just 60% or whatever. But then you get down to the other, it's like that same percentage is going in Dana's favor, 64% to whatever is the difference of like 300,000 votes or something like that. They made it right, that kind of stuff.
And that's why we don't vote county by county. We vote by total population because
Exactly.
Right.
you can't. It's not 83 evenly divided county spaces.
Right.
It is a popular election and popular
Right.
vote. It is not based
No
on
electoral
some
college or any
right.
crazy crap
Thank
like that.
goodness.
Yeah.
One person, one vote. It all counts.
Just gerrymandered districts.
And
that's all.
traditionally, I mean,
Hey, they're
it's-
not going to be next time.
the,
That's right.
The only thing that keeping me, because we all were going through that the night of. I mean, even though, we're talking about Prop 1, of course, but
But the whole
I don't know that there was ever a time until, I went to bed that night late thinking that Dana won, right? We all did, but there wasn't a concession
It
until the
needed
next
to
day.
be
No.
formally recognized
Right,
to feel
and
totally good
he
about
didn't
it. for
concede
sure.
until noon the next
I
day.
know.
Yeah.
I know.
So, yeah, but not only did Prop 1 pass, but the decision makers surrounding it to
I
help
know.
implement it
But what I'm
properly.
saying is, what was I saying?
It was a very nervous evening.
It was a nervous evening in regards to Dana, and as
Only
we
that-
saw
only Dana's part,
the
yeah.
elections
Yeah.
coming in, and the other states, the smaller states, in smaller counties, they were able to count and get them in, were totally against her, and there was a huge behind the eight ball when the night started. It was very distressing. But as the major, I kept telling myself, well, the elections in Michigan are usually determined by Wayne,
there was,
13th and 14th district,
Yeah,
Wayne County, and
Oakland County.
I think I mean, and we had Rick Michaels on Jazz Cabbage Cafe a couple weeks ago. There was $5.5 to $6 million dumped in the last few days of the campaign to help out Tom Leonard.
They felt it was their only chance. The Republicans.
So
they knew they lost
they
everything.
gave it a shot, and things drew pretty close before it was all over with. But hey,
that's true.
it ended up in the right way. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick up on that one thing that you said about Rick Michaels. I had that same conversation with him when we were at that fundraiser,
Right.
and you'd say like, well, how can that be effective, right? Like, lest and he brought this to my attention that when you see these ads and all the money that's dumped into it, they don't do it unless they think it's going to have an impact. That's number one. Right. And if you think about what is actually taking place, it means that in the last weeks before the election, there are people that are undecided.
many.
Who are these people?
I can't imagine either.
Who are they?
How do you
Most.
I don't know about that.
Maybe on Attorney General, not on the proposition.
Well, let's say this about
People
Prop
didn't
1.
know the names on the Attorney General. That was the problem.
Well, let's say about Prop 1 is that we saw in the last week a huge number of donations from Dow Chemical executives, from Meyer executives, from executives around.
DTE.
And
Didn't
these are-
even
I don't think it
touch
did
it.
anything to it.
It didn't, but what Michael's saying is that people don't give money unless they think there's a chance. So
Yeah.
who is it that convinced those people, those corporate
Scott Greenlee.
entities,
Scott-
that they
yeah.
had a chance and they should put their money there instead of in Bill Schuette's camp?
Well, because they
Well,
had
we knew that. I
they
think-
had
I think-
studies, and
right,
remember, we were standing around, and one of our colleagues came up to us to Deb and I, and was telling us that Target Insights at Saropolis had approached her and said that we were going to lose,
Right.
and that exit polling had shown it at 46%. And if you recall, Target Insight, I believe, were the ones that conducted the polls directly for HPM.
Correct.
Yep.
So you feed these people this bad data, and they say, oh, there's a chance, and they give. And it's just part of their overall scam, right? These guys are just, carpetbaggers to their core that are coming here. They want to make a buck,
It's a paycheck.
and that's it.
That's it. It's a
Well,
paycheck.
This is-
and they're going to move on to another state.
Yeah.
The same guys. They're going to turn up somewhere
Well,
else.
Greenlee is a Michigan guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's
they had
not
to
gonna
recruit a
stop
local
him.
guy.
That's
like
not going to
Randy
stop him.
Ridgeville.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this anti-organization and their presence that still remains in the state in a second. The one point I wanted to finish with on this was, even outside of what's going on here, the idea that a party would take $5 million and know that it is,
What is that?
I don't know what's that.
I know what it looks like.
It is a Sour
Patch Kid.
Patch Kid appendage.
It looks like a sour
Put
catch
it away,
penis.
Jimmy. It's not
It's a
appropriate.
penis with blue balls.
Put
Come
it
on.
away.
Really? It looks like an uncircumcised penis with blue balls.
I know that whatever point I was
you-
going to make is
are you
clearly not as
discriminating?
entertaining as drawing attention to that.
This is unusual, Michael.
It's
We're
radio, though,
We're
Mike,
very
so-
flippant and happy today. We apologize.
are.
We
really
apologize
are.
for
Baby.
Jamie's behavior.
Demerits.
Yeah,
okay.
the other show, this is where we would go immediately, but we never do that here.
I'm putting Jamie on double secret probation.
I've been there. It's a cold place, man. It's a cold place.
Looked like it came off his dog, maybe. That's how I was worried.
Oh, she's a female, okay?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, man. That's, don't judge.
Not-
If
Now
we're
he's
making
talking
fun,
shit
we're
about
having a good
Zeta.
time. Come
Don't
on, I
judge.
get-
Dogs can be
Sarcastic
that way.
Mike.
I think
Come on,
Sherman would be proud to have that thing.
It's radio. Wow. All right. My final point before we talk about the spoils of victory is generally in the election the idea that amount of money, right, is being used because they think it's going to have an impact. It didn't, but that's not the point. But that they are appealing to this segment of the population that's undecided.
Well, did
The-
they I'm so sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead now. Well, I was going to say, this group of people that we're talking about that are undecided are the most uninformed people that exist. They don't know what the hell's going on. They haven't made up their
They're
mind in the last 3
cretins.
weeks.
It's like 80% of the population.
And
Deplorable cretins.
they're so misinformed that the worst of the worst propaganda
Yeah.
is effective in swaying them. That has nothing to do with the truthful issues. This is the travesty that exists in the world. First of all, where do they get $5 million to put into TV ads? What kind of crazy world are we doing to put that garbage on TV to try to lie to the voters to motivate them to voting? I mean, first of all, that is just it's insane from a economic and priority sharing. That's number
Right.
one, and number two, the idea that the election can be swung by the propaganda that would influence a small group of people. First of all, it's not. It didn't have an effect. It didn't have an effect. Am I right?
Well, she won, but it became really close. So there's probably some targets there besides just the last-minute people who mindlessly look to see who's got the flashiest ads. There's certain demographic they targeted as being undecided or that was on the fence in some way, and was
I
successful
understand.
in getting a few of those probably.
Right. And I will And my point is that's a tragedy. And number two is think of it in the greater scheme. Think of like a general election. The types of ads that come out, when there's, like down the stretch. I mean, you usually don't see judges' ads. I saw a few times. But as these things come out, it is truly like the greatest